Welcome to Real Estate Gist with Modesty. Welcome to today's episode of Real Estate Gist with Modesty. So let's know where you are watching from. Kindly comment with your name and your location. Let's know where you are watching from. Let's know where you are watching from. Comment with your name and your location. This is Real Estate Gist with Modesty. We are still looking at understanding land titles. And today we're going to be looking at something very important, the most popular title, land title in Nigeria, which is the C of O and the governor's consent. So watch out for a great time. Let's know where you are watching from. You can share the link, share with your friends, let them join for this episode of Real Estate Gist with Modesty. Ensure you share the link with your friends, with everyone on Facebook right now, so they can join us. This is Real Estate Gist with Modesty. Our aim here is simply to bring you vital information that will help you either as a real estate investor or as a realtor, as an agent, or a real estate developer. So it's something that you definitely benefit from. So ensure you share the link with your friends, comment with your name and your location. Let's know where you are watching from. Where are you watching from? Your name, your location. So we just have a few minutes to do that before we go right into today's discussion. Your name, your location. This is Real Estate Gist with Modesty. And my name is Eneke Modesty, or the CEO of Modesty Real Estate Ltd. Right? Welcome once again. 1 minute before we kick off for today's in essence. So comment with your name and your location. Your name and your location. So let's know where you are watching from. Your name and your location. Alright, I can see some of you are already doing that. You're welcome. So your name, your location. This is Real Estate Gist with Modesty. In the last episode of this program, we spoke about acquisition, global acquisition and committed acquisition. So in case you missed that, you can check our page, this particular page, and you will see the episode, and do well to watch that, because many of the things we'll be sharing today is a continuation of what we shared in that episode. Alright, so what is C of O? I believe this is not the first time you are hearing that C of O. You are hearing about C of O, Certificate of Occupancy. Certificate of Occupancy. In the last episode, I spoke about the Land Use Act, how by the government to show that they've given a particular land to an individual or an organization for a purpose. It's a document, it's a legal document or a title document issued by the government. All lands belong to the state government. All land belongs to the state government, and so the governor can choose to give out part of the land to an individual, an organization, for a particular purpose, either for residential or for commercial purpose. Either for residential or for commercial purpose. So, and when this is done, the individual is given a particular document called C of O, Certificate of Occupancy. So it is a legal document that is issued by the state government, stating that this land has been given or has been leased to an individual, an organization, for a period of 99 years. So C of O is always valid for a period of 99 years. These are key things that you should know about C of O. That first, it is issued by the state government, by the governor. The governor with the state government issues the C of O, and also it is valid for 99 years. Another thing you need to know about C of O is that it can only be issued to one person. It can only be issued to an individual or a company. So C of O cannot be issued more than once. It can only be issued once. That leads us to the next thing we want to talk about, which is governor's consent. So since C of O can only be issued to one person, what then is governor's consent? What is governor's consent? Governor's consent is a document that is issued to someone that buys a land that already owns, that already have a C of O, that is a certificate of occupancy. For example, if Mr. A buys the land, acquires the certificate of occupancy from the governor, then Mr. A owns the land, he acquires the certificate of occupancy from the governor, he now decides to sell it to Mr. B. So Mr. B now proceeds to the governor's office and with all the titles, with the deed and everything that he used to buy the document from Mr. A, and he now tells the governor that this land does no longer belong to Mr. A, it now belongs to me. So the governor will issue to Mr. B what is called a governor's consent. So it is a C of O title document that is issued to an individual that buys a land that already have a certificate of occupancy. So when you buy a land that already have a C of O, remember C of O can only be issued once. So what will happen? You will be issued a governor's consent. You have to go to the governor's office, Ministry of Land of the state, and get your governor's consent. So once an individual has a C of O, when he transfers the ownership from him to another person or an organization, the organization cannot have a C of O again. They can only have a governor's consent, which is a C of O that is owned by a second, a third, a fourth owner of a particular property after the original C of O has been acquired. Hope you understand that. I'm being as simple as possible. So governor's consent is a title document that is issued by the government to an individual who buys a land that already has a C of O. Remember I told you that one characteristic of C of O is that it can only be issued to one person. So when buying a land that has a C of O, it is expected that after buying the land that you go to the Ministry of Lands and apply for your governor's consent to show that this land now belongs to you, not the former owner that has the C of O. So the land now belongs to you. Those are key things that you should know about C of O and governor's consent. Now the essence of this whole class, this whole episode, is not to bombard you with knowledge that won't be useful to you as a real estate investor. There are key secrets that I want to reveal to you today that you must watch out for in buying a property as it concerns C of O. So before we get to that, why do you need C of O? Why is C of O, certificate of occupancy, important? Why do you need it for a land? It is very, very important. One of the importance of C of O is that it helps to avoid multiple ownership of a land. Multiple ownership of a land. That means that once you have C of O of a land, remember it can only be given to one person, or a governor's consent, it can only be given to one person at a time. Once you have that for a land, another person cannot have the same C of O or have a land document, a governor's consent for the same land. C of O can only be issued to one person, one individual, one organization for a land per time. So that means that when you have two C of O's for one land, it obviously means that one is fake because it can only be issued to one person. Alright, so it helps to avoid multiple ownership. Another importance of C of O is that it increases the value of the land or a landed property. When selling a land that has a C of O, there is a high tendency for you to sell it at a price higher than the actual worth of the property. Because once the buyer hears that the land has C of O, to a greater degree, the person is less assured that the land is genuine. So it helps to increase the worth of the property. It increases the value of the property. That is one importance of C of O. Then the next important, hope you are following. I say that it helps to avoid multiple ownership. It increases the value of a property. Then also another importance of C of O is that it is very, very useful when using a land or a landed property as a collateral. When using a land as a collateral, C of O is very, very useful. For many banks, many institutions, they accept a land or a landed property that has C of O as a collateral. Why? Because they know that this land, government has removed hand, in quote, from this land. So this land actually belongs to this person for this period of 99 years. So they can choose to sell the land if you don't pay the loan or if you don't pay the loan on time. So it is very, very good when you want to use your property for a collateral. So CFO is very, very useful. Another importance of CFO, remember I said it helps to avoid multiple ownership. What else did I say? Let me see if you are following. You have to let us know in the comment section. It helps to increase the worth of the property. Then it helps to also, it serves as a collateral when borrowing money with your property. Another importance of CFO is that it helps to avoid the loss of a property, in the sense that the government cannot claim your land. Remember, all land belongs to the government without compensation. Before CFO can be issued, it would have been exited. Remember, what is excision? What is global acquisition? You can watch the last episode in this on this page. You'll be able to understand that. That means that before CFO can be issued for a property, the government would have stated clearly that they do not have future or present intention to use the land. They do not have future or present intention to use the land. That means that any landed property that has CFO, certificate of occupancy, government cannot come back tomorrow and say they want to claim the property. If anything like that happens, there must be adequate compensation for it. But in a situation whereby you buy a land that is under acquisition, whereby government has indicated interest on the land already to use it for something in the future, government can come tomorrow and get the land with little or no compensation or consideration. All right. So CFO helps you to secure your land from government interference. It helps you to secure your land from government coming to claim your land tomorrow. So those are basic importance of CFO. Now, what are the cons? What are the disadvantages? In quotes. Remember, I say in quotes. Now, in these disadvantages, I'm going to be explaining key things that you must know. This is where you should watch out and observe. Let me know if you are following. Do well to comment with what you're learning in the comment section with your name, your location, and what you're learning. So, what are the seeming disadvantages of getting a land with CFO? Remember, I already told you that all the land belongs to the government. So when you get a land with CFO, the government is simply giving you a lease for 99 years. You are leasing the land from the government. Imagine leasing your own land from the government. Because the land generally belongs to the government. So you are expected to pay what is called land grants. You are expected to pay land grants for that CFO every year. You are expected to pay an amount of money which varies from one location to the other, or whether it is urban or rural area. You get to find out that in Ministry of Land. So you are expected to pay every year for that land. Now, if you don't pay this money, remember, land not dey spoil. If you don't pay the money, your children will pay it, or the person that will get the land from you, buy the land, or you will give the land, will pay it. Somebody definitely will pay that money. You cannot many times run away from paying that money, except you don't want to have anything that to do with government as it concerns the land. So it is advisable that if you have a land that has CFO, you should always pay the land grant. So this is one of the cons of CFOs. The moment you apply for CFO and it's granted to you, it means that you will be paying a particular money every year to the government. So you have already officially leased the land from the government. You are expected to pay for the lease. You are expected to pay every year for the land. So before you apply for CFO, ask yourself, hope you are ready to pay this. Now, how does this affect an investor who wants to buy a property that has a CFO? It is expedient, it's important, it is paramount, it is very important. Make I use pidgin talk am. It is important well, right? So that before you buy a property that has certificate of occupancy, that you should go to Ministry of Land and check the debts on that property. This is one of the key things to watch out for. Remember, we're looking at the cons, the disadvantages, and what real estate investors should take note of. You should check the debt on the land. Check the last time the owner of that property paid the land grant, so that you'll be able to know the amount to offer for the property. So don't just buy a property without investigating the documents. So you say, the property has CFO, it's genuine. Yes, it can be genuine and you're buying basic. Imagine it's genuine and the CFO has expired. Imagine it's genuine and the CFO, they've not paid any land, any grant for 90 years and it's just 9 years left. You know, you are going to pay, you are going to buy debts. When you, after you have made the payment, sign a deed of assignment, transfer the land to you, when you finally want to do your governor's consent and officially transfer it from the with the government to you, you will have to pay all the money. So before buying a property that has governor's consent or CFO, it is important that you go to Ministry of Land and check the document, check the debt on it, check the last time the person paid the land grant, and if the person has not paid, check how much you are supposed to pay, so that you will know the proper value to pay for your land, to buy the land. This is one key thing that a real estate investor must know as concerns CFO. Remember, our work here is to show you what every real estate investor must know. So don't buy a landed property that has CFO without verifying the debt and the validity of the CFO. You have to go to Ministry of Land, say, where do I have all the luxury of time? Where do I have all the time to be going to Ministry of Land to verify documents? That is why many times you need a competent real estate company like Modesty Real Estate to help you. Alright? When you want to repair your car, you don't just take hammer and take a spanner and start losing every part. No. When you want to take drug, you don't, except you want to kill yourself, you don't just take anything you like and be swallowing paracetamol. No, you meet a pharmacist, you meet a mechanic. The same way when you want to buy land, don't think it's not land now, it's just land. You don't just buy land and just make payment and just sign the paper. Some people don't even care about paper. Say they bought the land, that's what matters. So far I've paid you. That reminds me of something I want to emphasize. Now, in a land transaction, the title document, that piece of paper, that deed of assignment, one of the sessions will talk about deed and different kinds of deed and what must be in a deed that will make it a vital document. That CFO is as important as the land itself. You don't buy land the way you buy phone. You know, you can buy a phone, you don't care about where you kept the receipt. You can just throw away the receipt and keep the receipt somewhere and use the phone for as long as you want. But land is not like that. Because land not dey spoil. Because that document must be kept the same way the land is kept. Because there is nothing that will happen to the land. Remember, when you are buying the land, put the future in mind. Put your children in mind. Put the buyer in mind. Put the next owner of the land in mind. Knowing fully whether this land, nothing is likely to happen to it in hundred of years to come till Jesus comes, if you are a Christian watching us. So, to the end of the world, in hundred of years, nothing will happen to the land. So putting this into consideration, you must pay adequate attention to the land title, to the land document. So when buying a land that has CFO, take the CFO to Ministry of Land. That's what brought us into all of this. And verify the document and know the amount. I was in the Surveyor General's office last week, and I went to verify some of our new estates that we just started marketing. That is our work at Modesty Real Estate. We don't just sell land, we sell peace of mind. So I was verifying some of those estates to see if they are okay, some of the lands generally, if they are okay, if they are what we can market to our clients. And one of the person I met in the office asked me a question. Why are you always coming around? Why are you always coming to verify properties? He first asked, are you a lawyer? I told him, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm a trained realtor. I'm not just a real estate agent, in quotes. This is a professional, I'm trained, I know what I'm doing exactly. So I verified the property, but I asked, why do you ask, am I a lawyer? Because I'm always coming here to verify property, asking different questions, coming with papers. And the person said, because he knows different agents that sell land, and what concerns them, they just sell the lands and get their commission and they move on, they don't care. And I told him that is what differentiates, that is what makes the difference between an agent, a real estate agent, and a trained realtor. That is not just concerned about his interest, his commission, but about peace of mind of the buyer. And that is what we do at Modesty Real Estate. And that is what you should pay attention to, even as a real estate investor. Don't just buy land and say it's my friend without the appropriate title documents or without verifying the title. If the documents, if the land has a C of O, check the loan, check the debt on it. That's what is bringing us into all of this. So that's one of the cons and one of the key things that you must know as a real estate investor about certificate of occupancy or governor's consent. Let me know if you are following by commenting on this. Comment what you've learned or what you're learning so far. Let me know if you are following. Remember to add your name and your location. So one disadvantage or seeming disadvantage of certificate of occupancy is that you have to be paying land grant every year to the government. Another thing is that it can be revoked. Certificate of occupancy can be revoked by the governor. According to Section 28 of Land Use Act of 1978, certificate of occupancy C of O can be revoked if based on certain conditions. I'm just going to pick out one that is very important and explain that every investor must know. Do you realize that you can be scammed with a land that has genuine C of O? Bang bang. I believe that may sound shocking to you. Yes, you can. Let me explain. And then I'll now explain how that can help to the revocation of that C of O. Imagine Mr. A. I'm going to give an example. Mr. A buys a property from Mr. B. And Mr. B that owns that. Okay, let's do it this way. Imagine there's a particular property in Ibadan, a place they call Akubo in Ibadan. Alright? And this property is owned by Mr. A, who bought it from someone and has all the land agreement, all the title, and everything required. And he knows the origin of the land. He has everything. But he hasn't gotten the C of O. Mr. B now came from nowhere because he has influence. And because he thinks he can quickly get the C of O and forge an agreement, then go ahead and prepare his registered survey. But you need registered survey before the C of O. Alright? Prepare his registered survey, apply to the governor with his influence, then get a certificate of occupancy. All this happened within 2-3 years. Alright? He now has the C of O for a land that doesn't naturally belong to him. Alright? Mr. B now has the C of O that doesn't naturally belong to him. If Mr. A comes back tomorrow, maybe he traveled out, and with all his valid documents that can be traced from the source, from where he bought, even the first, second, third generation of where the land is coming from, he has all the proof, and discovers that Mr. B already have a C of O on this land, even already built a house. That is the worst, because who owns the land owns what is on it. There is a law like that in real estate. Who owns the land owns any structure on it. So, by virtue of the law, the Mr. A that doesn't have a C of O on this property still owns this property. Because he bought it, he has the deed of assignment, he has all the proofs. So if he takes the Mr. B to court with all his evidence, there is a high probability in the right jurisdiction that he will be able to claim back this land, even with the Mr. B having C of O. Hope you are following. So imagine Mr. A, who doesn't have C of O, now takes the matter to court with evidence. Remember, court does not hear anything apart from evidence. As I will tell you, when you are buying your land, everything is important. Transfer receipt is important. Transfer receipt, your chat with the seller is important. Everything is important. That is why you keep them in a place that is safe forever, maybe like a OneDrive, or you print them out and attach it to your land documents. Because that is what court will hear. Court will not hear, only God knows the true owner. There's nothing like that before the court. It is evidence. What is the proof to show that this land belongs to you? He said, but what if the land is genuine? It's not all about genuine. What if somebody that is mad or crazy or just want to make troubles comes to fight with you and you don't have evidence? The person can get your land and nobody will challenge it because you don't have evidence. So life now, evidence, proof, right? I get evidence. So do you have evidence for your land? All right, let's go back to our story. The story I was saying, this Mr. B that have gotten the C of O now, he's not the rightful owner, but he has the C of O. So Mr. A comes back and make a case and wins the case. If he wins the case before the court of law, and he now becomes the rightful owner of this property, the CFO of Mr. B can be revoked. The CFO of Mr. B can be revoked. One of the conditions according to that section 28 of Land Use Act is that when there is an issue with the root title. What is the root title? That means where the land is coming from. So now that Mr. A has come from somewhere and provided the adequate root title, claiming before the court of law that this is his land. So the CFO of Mr. B can be revoked. Imagine Mr. C has bought the land from Mr. B. Before Mr. A comes, who is the original owner of the land? Mr. C just said that there is a land in Akobo. It's a very, very good land. This land is worth 100 million. And the owner is ready to sell it for 10 million naira. For the fastest buyer, guess what? This land has C of O. It has everything. It's facing the main road. Are you ready to buy it? So Mr. C, with all the excitement, because he has heard C of O, did not bother to verify the root title. Did not bother to do what is called underground search, local search, social search. All of these things are what we do for our clients. We do a social search, we do a search in the court registry, we do search in the Ministry of Land, we do search in the Surveyor General's office. We do everything to ensure that the land is worth buying. All right. So Mr. C did not bother to do all the searches. He just bought the land because it has C of O. Now, Mr. C will definitely lose his money and the land to Mr. A, the original owner. He bought the land with C of O, but he was scammed. The C of O will be revoked according to the law because there is an issue with the root title. So if the root title has an issue, that means that a certificate of occupancy can be revoked. So Mr. A, the original owner, after winning the lot case, can take all his evidence to Ministry of Lands, and the CFO of Mr. B will be revoked. Then he will have the actual CFO as the rightful owner. Because one of the conditions for revoking CFO is that when there is an issue with the root title. I believe you've learned something there. So before buying a land that has CFO, what about the root title? He said the land has CFO. Who did he buy it from? He said it belongs to his father. Who did the father get it from? He said, no, they don't used to give agreement. Okay, where is the family? Are they alive? Is there any trace to it? He said, there is a receipt, or at least there is something. So you must find out the roots and verify it. He said, well, where will I have the time? Remember, you need a rector like Modesty, Mr. Modesty, to help you do all of this. Don't just buy land the same way you buy food. The same, don't use spanner to start losing your car because you feel that you can lose and then spoil your car. The same way you should not just go and buy a land because you feel you have the money and you know the seller. What if the seller is genuine and the person he got it from is not genuine? So there are many intricacies, there are many things about land that you cannot afford to make the mistake to buy a piece of land without a rector like us. You cannot. So one of the cons of certificate of occupancy is that it can be what? Revoked. It can be revoked. So every investor must adequately make proper inquiry and make sure that the seller of the property have other root titles. If you bought the property, there must be at least a deed of transfer or a deed of assignment. How did he get the property? Of course, you have to get a property. It's not always by purchase. There are 1,001 ways to get a property in Nigeria legally without purchase. There can be a gift, then there should be a deed of gift to that effect. You should give somebody a land, then there should be a deed of gift, well signed and sealed. Don't say, he knows now. Remember that you can die. Remember that the person that gave you the land can die too. What is the evidence that he gave you the land? There is no document, there is no deed of transfer, there is no deed of gift. Then the children will not come from nowhere, or the children will not come from nowhere and start fighting your children. Because land will not spoil. And say, but my dad, your great-grandfather gave it to our own great-grandfather. Proof, evidence, no evidence. So if you have a piece of land right now and there is no title document on it, we can help you. That's why we are here. That's why we are Modesty Real Estate. That's why we are trained. We are not just agents. We not be agents. Just agent that people that just feel they can just wake up tomorrow and just start selling land and selling real estate without any training, without any knowledge. No. We know what we are doing, and your peace of mind is more important to us, and we have a reputation to keep. You know, if you make inquiry about us, like go to Google, search Modesty Real Estate, go to Facebook, and just see what our client is saying about us. Because of all of this proper due diligence that we do before doing anything. So money is important. We want to make money, but peace of mind is more important to us than money. It's more important to us. Your safety and guarantee is more important to us than money. So you do well to reach out to us. We'll help you get the right title for that land. Have you learned something today? What every real estate investor must know about C of O and certificate of occupancy. Let me just give you a recap of all I've been saying. First of all, I emphasize the fact that land title or title document of a land is as important as the land. That land is as important as the paper that contains the transfer of the land or the details of the land. So don't just buy a land and throw the paper somewhere and you don't care, because you forget about the future. You forget about the future. You forget that something can happen to you tomorrow. You forget that another person can take the land from you. All right, because the seller is your neighbor. You can always meet him tomorrow. You good morning, good morning, good morning. That will not last forever. Get a proper title. All right. Then also look at what CFO is, a legal document issued by the government to show that they have leased the land or a landed property. They've leased the land to a particular individual or organization, stating also the essence of the land, whether it is commercial or residential. That is a certificate of occupancy. Then we went further to say that certificate of occupancy is only valid for 99 years and it can only be issued to one person. So because of that, when another individual wants to buy a property that already has a CFO, he will acquire a different document called governor's consent. So governor's consent is a document issued by the government to an individual who buys a land from someone that already have a CFO. Hope you get that. All right. Then we looked at what are the advantages of CFO. It's a good collateral for collecting loans. We looked at that. So it increases the value of the land. We also looked at the fact that it helps to avoid multiple ownership. Then it helps to avoid loss of land to the government without adequate compensation. So when the land has CFO, government cannot just wake up tomorrow and give and say that they want to use the land without compensating you, because they already gave you the certificate of occupancy. You have the right of ownership. You have the right of usage for a period of 99 years. So you cannot lose your money without adequate compensation onto the government. So that CFO is very, very important due to all of these reasons. And we look at the cons of CFO. We've seen that there's what is called land grants. CFO is you leasing your land from the government to be paying them every year. So before you think of getting CFO, be ready to be paying the grant, because if you don't pay the grant, the next owner of the land is going to pay it. The next person that will have anything to do with the government concerning that land is going to pay it. So you pay the grant for the period of 99 years. And of course, after 99 years, you then have to renew it. Some people don't even care. They buy a land that has CFO that has expired. Because of illiteracy. What kind of illiteracy? I mean real estate illiteracy. Because they don't know. It has CFO. It has CFO. You now check the date. It's over 100 years. It has not been renewed. You are still jumping. The land gets CFO. The land gets CFO. That's how you just bought it. Not knowing that the CFO is no more valid. It needs to be renewed. And the governor can even choose not to grant the CFO again for the second time. So there are many things you need to know. Alright, so it needs to be really valid for 99 years. Then you need to be paying the grant for that 99 years. So as an investor, before buying a land that has CFO, take the documents to Ministry of Lands and find out the debt, if there is a debt on the land, if the owner has been paying the land grant. If he has not been paying that, let the owner pay it, or you factor it into what you are buying, so that you will need to buy more than you should. These are the things we do for you before you give an offer for a property. We ensure that there is no debt on the land. Alright? Then also another con is that it can be revoked. Another disadvantage of CFO, it can be revoked, especially when there is an issue with the root title. Remember that long example I gave? When the owner of the CFO did not acquire the land legally, did not acquire it well. What if he acquired it well? When the person he acquired it from did not acquire it well too, there's still an issue. So if the third owner comes with enough evidence that the old land belongs to him and takes the matter to court, and the only evidence you have is CFO, no evidence, only talk, no evidence. All right, only talk, and Of course, you now want to be very. So by next week Wednesday, we're going to be looking at understanding land titles again, and we'll look at another land title that you should know, and you get to know on before that Wednesday. So do well to stay tuned to this channel. Do well to always check what the offers we have for you. Set peace of mind for your wealth. So reach out to us right now on the on our office line. Let's help you get your desired land and landed property. Remember our slogan: we don't just sell land, we sell peace of mind for your wealth. And we have lands for everyone. Are you a millionaire? We have lands for you. Are you a billionaire? We have lands for you. Are you a thousandaire? We have lands for you. Are you a bike man? We have lands for you that you can be paying small. You pay small, and you end up getting the worth of your property. All right? If you pay small for a phone and want to resell it tomorrow, you cannot resell it the amount you bought the phone. You will lose money. If you pay small for a land, you will end up making gain while paying small. You buy a land for 700K today, pay within 1 year. We have lands like that at Modesty Real Estate. Pay within 1 year. After 1 year, the worth of the land will be 1.5 million naira. Remember, you have made extra 800,000 naira even while still paying. So there is nothing like real estate. There is no investment on earth that pays like real estate with little or no effort, especially if you are dealing with the right real estate company. Think about it. You will want to join the smart investors. Let's help you. Let's guide you from start to finish with our expertise, with our theme, and with all our partnership with other companies. We are here to serve you. Thank you for joining us. Do well to let us know what you learned, and if this training has been beneficial to you. Thank you. All right, thank you for joining us. Thank you.